What would you do with one of these? You could use it as a doorstop. A handy bookend, perhaps. Display it on your mantelpiece. Or you could show it proudly to your mum. It is, in fact, the all-purpose 1992 Brit Award, the official trophy given by the record industry to the best British and international artists. Prince, Madonna and Massive Attack have all been nominated, and there'll be live performances from Seal, from Simply Red and the KLF. So join us at the Hammersmith Odeon with a simultaneous Radio 1 broadcast. The Brits 1992, next Wednesday, 7:30, BBC One.
He's up from Oz to buy a few antiques. Don't knock it. 10% of whatever he buys. And there's so many dirty, unscrupulous types about. You know what I mean. Part of my brief is to make sure he does not get done over. Or if he does get done over, it's me that does it.
Lovejoy.
Greg. Excuse me.
Now on BBC One, to congratulate or complain, it's your points of view.
Good evening, and a huge variety of opinions. Should bank managers be seen bonking their way through the picturesque northwest? What are comedians doing sampling Venice for the holiday programme? And those misleading percentages in the opinion polls. But important things first.
I've just finished watching Friday's edition of Neighbours.
For those who missed it, it was, says Andy Hubble,
The one where Ryan drives Josh all over the place in Dorothy's car, collecting old clothes for a big sale. Then Ryan and Josh got out of the car, Ryan forgot to put the handbrake on, and the car rolled back on its own and crashed.
watch.
Listen, Josh, how about we forget the anchors? Oh, that's just wonderful, Ryan. She was the reason for the trip. I mean, besides, we still got plenty of room in the car. Oh, the car, right?
But did the car roll back on its own, or did I see a helping hand ask many several hundred dozens? Watch again.
Listen, Josh, how about we forget the anchors? Oh, that's just wonderful, Ryan. She was the reason for the trip. I mean, besides, we still got plenty of room in the car. Oh, the car, right?
Low-budget Australian television at its best. The next clip will also interest motoring enthusiasts who'll see there are definitely no hands on the wheel in this vehicle on account of them being far too busy elsewhere.
I've never been wanted like that. I never imagined whatever it is, this feeling.
And I think that's quite enough to give people a rough idea how to go about getting an overdraft. For those who missed it, that was one of the less sexy scenes from A Time to Dance, Melvyn Bragg's dramatisation of his novel about a small-time middle-aged bank manager with an invalid wife and an obsession about a young girl called Bernadette, who's from the wrong side of the tracks, has a lot of heavy-duty relatives and is trying to recover from being raped by the lodger 3 years earlier. The rape, incidentally, being the first scene to be shown, followed in subsequent episodes by quite a lot of young Bernadette and old Andrew writhing around various five-star hotels in Cumberland.
Yes, the best thing about A Time to Dance is the super camera work showing the sublime and ageless beauty of the Lake District.
Says Joan Ivory of Cornwall. Ken Crabtree in Manchester, on the other hand, thought it compulsive because there was so much...
Rumpy-pumpy.
And indeed, Mr. Crabtree says...
Ronnie Pickup playing Andrew Powell deserves an Oscar for supreme professionalism under the most adverse conditions.
There were, of course, others who objected most strongly to that initial rape scene. Hazel Ritchie of Edinburgh was...
sickened, almost to the point of speechlessness.
Still on bad taste, several protests about an item on That's Life, which involves Cleo Rockus, who has a pair of very, well, you know, and was in a wheelbarrow holding two jellies testing the unevenness of pavements. Graham Loughton in Thirst argues...
I'm surprised Esther Ranson has the nerve to continue being involved with various moral issues like child abuse when her programme is helping to encourage this sort of crudeness.
EastEnders last night saw Pete Beale, that master of the articulate sentence, well and truly on the case of Wilmot Brown and adding some finishing touches to his Range Rover. One viewer phoned immediately after the programme to say...
I don't want to leave my name, because if you use it on television, my car is open again to vandalism. I had 2 or 3 prestige cars vandalised with knife scratches, and putting the idea on EastEnders is stupid and mindless.
Now, onto a programme shown in the wee small hours called The Way Ahead. This provides detailed information on disability benefits and is put out by the BBC for the Department of Social Security. But why on earth demand very many viewers?
Is it on at 2 in the morning? Does the BBC assume all disabled people have video recorders?
No, they don't. Apparently the 2 o'clock in the morning slot is otherwise vacant just now, and so rather than leave it empty, The Way Ahead is being screened. What the programme is actually a part of is a specialist information service to be started next year. And don't worry about missing out, because other programmes do feature the same information. And on to opinion polls, of which we can expect to see an ever-increasing number in the forthcoming weeks. Fred Latham of Melrose says,
I am sick of being insulted by the opinion poll results that are shown on television news. For example, a 2% lead is given in a graphic display. Then in print, almost too small to read, there is margin of error plus or minus 3%.
And Mr Latham is one of several to point out this confusion. All opinion polls have a margin of error, usually 2 or 3%, which means for a political party's gain or drop to be of any significance, the percentage must be more than that 2 or 3%. And attempting to steer well clear of politics was Annika in the holiday programme. Joanna Hancock's of Burntwood, you were
appalled to hear her cheerfully announce, tourism has fallen off in China in recent years due to the Tiananmen Square massacre, so lots of cut-price tours and holidays.
Many others felt their favourite city, and mine too, was not best left in the hands of comedian Jimmy Mulville. Kay Roberts of Wanstead says,
He completely ruined a promising item on Venice. Not only did he stay at one of the world's most expensive hotels, but he managed to waste a vast amount of time extolling the virtues of the freebies in the bathroom.
Now let's hear from Primrose Scanlon. She likes something.
Praises be for the Champagne Hour on BBC One Friday night. I refer to Love Hurts and the wonderful Adam Faith and the unique Zoe Wanamaker. It flows along full of wit and wisdom and such charm, and so far not a four-letter word to shatter the ears of the lovely illusion.
But quite a lot of, what do you call it, Ken Crabtree in Manchester?
Rumpy-pumpy.
Thank you, Mr Crabtree. The Rumpy Pumpy, for those who've so far missed this charming and delightful series, is mostly between Tessa, who runs a third world charity, and Frank, who is a billionaire plumber and entrepreneur, the sort anyone's mother would consider unsuitable until they saw his convertible J-Reg Jag. Anyway, there are lots of interesting subplots, one of them being the family life of Rabbi Warburg, played by Jane Lapotaire. Elizabeth Holman has felt most let down by this bit.
So little TV portrays family life, yet what do I find in last week's episode? That nice Jewish couple. They've made the husband rush off to have a quick fling in Birmingham.
Also last week, Frank finally got Tessa into his penthouse bedroom.
Impressed?
Oh, impressed.
Want to change anything?
Oh, one or two things.
And while we're on about furniture design, did you catch our friend describing his busy bedroom in Signs of the Times? This being a compelling, if mischievous, look at the way we live, some participants perhaps not entirely aware how their thoughts would come over on television.
So this is the bedroom, and this is where all the action takes place. I bought those from Habitat. They were originally pine, but I painted them black, obviously, so they fit in with the rest of the house. I've also got music coming up from my stereo system downstairs, so basically it's just a world of entertainment in here. It's brilliant.
How exciting. You fancied a bit of something else, didn't you, Mrs Fletcher in Bristol?
Oh, just once more, Hugh Laurie playing Hey Jude.
Laurie helped by Fry coming up, incidentally more technically tricky than you might imagine. Oh, and see you in a fortnight, another award ceremony next week.
All right.
The comments aimed at the drama A Time to Dance will be one of the topics taken up by the Bite Back team on Sunday at 4:25.